Hey there, it's Olivia-Savannah here from Olivia's Catastrophe, and today, the day that I'm bringing you this video, it is my birthday. Happy birthday to me, I am turning 25. So to celebrate my 25th birthday, I always do a video about whatever I want my video to be about, and here I'm bringing you for my 25th birthday my favourite book characters of all time. And as it is my birthday, I have also cheated and grouped some of these characters together, so just bear with me, it's my birthday, I can do what I want, I can break my own rules. There will be no spoilers in this video for any of these books, and I'm going to start with my top 3 in order and then just randomly mention the other ones, not in any particular order, but let's get down to my top 3. So I think a lot of people can predict this, but my number 1 book character of all time, my ultimate book boyfriend who I love with my whole heart, is Adam Parrish from The Raven Cycle. You meet him in the first book and I have loved him since then. I will say that I have a thing for mechanics, and Adam Parrish knows how to do the mechanical stuff. I think what I like about mechanics, or like people who know how to build stuff and fix stuff that is broken, is that they have a logical part to their brain, a way of puzzling things out, thinking through things that I don't possess myself whatsoever. I'm rubbish at following instructions. I do lots of things intuitively over logistically, and so even though I can use the logistical side of my brain if I really put my mind to it, I think that's one of the reasons why I'm drawn to mechanic characters. But also I feel like he's one of those boys that's just like a really sad boy who's trying to recover and just trying his very best. He's also full of pride and he has to learn how to get over himself. I just love seeing character development, so seeing him learn to get over himself but also like learn how to love people in terms of like found family was beautiful in The Raven Cycle. And there are many reasons why I love Adam Parrish, and I don't have time to get into all of them today, but I wish this character eternal happiness. My second favourite character of all time is Jasper Cullen. Now he's from Twilight and I absolutely love him. I've been on quite a journey with Twilight. I have reread those books countless times, and if I was a teenager when I first read it and you asked me my favourite character, it would have obviously been Edward Cullen. But then by the end of the series it was Jasper Cullen, and as I've grown older it's fallen into like Jasper is my number 1 and Edward and Carlisle tied for number 2. And I have a special place in my heart for Leah, but truthfully like Jasper just takes the cake. I love him so much. I try and ignore the Confederate past that Stephanie Meyer just did not choose to address, and I think of him as my polite southern cowboy vampire of my dreams. And I just love the way that he loves his partner through and through and is so dedicated to her. I think his gift is really cool, and the best thing about Midnight Sun was being able to learn more about his gift, and I love the name Jasper. Just think he is wonderful. And my third top character of all time is actually a woman, praise be. I love scary women. I love scary women who can just like steamroll over me, and Scarlet from the Lunar Chronicles is definitely that. She is a handy shot with a gun. She knows what she's doing at all times. I absolutely love how boss she is in this series, but also how loyal and dedicated she is to the people she loves. She would fight for them, she would do anything for them, and actually tied in 3rd place with her is Wolf, who you meet in Scarlet's book as well. I think he's a fantastic book boyfriend character. I just love that he has that werewolf thing to him about pack, about found family, about loyalty. He would do anything for Scarlet. He sees her as his alpha, and I love that respect. So now we just get into the rest of the characters. I'm just going to do them higgledy-piggledy in any order. So first up I want to talk about Darren. Now you meet Darren in Glitterland by Alexis Hall. Darren is an absolute ray of sunshine. I've never met a sunshiny character that sunshines as hard as he does. He is from Essex. He says, "Oh babes," and speaks like that. He's a model, and he just comes into Ash's life and changes it. And I think everybody deserves a ray of sunshine like Darren in their life, who's just so sweet and honest and just so lovely to be around. He is the character that I could definitely see being my best friend. I also want to mention Isabelle, Izzy from The Mortal Instruments. This is a series that I grew up reading as a teenager, and Isabelle is my favourite shadow hunter. I think that she's got quite a discreet character in terms of how much she loves all of the people around her and how much she sometimes kind of pushes them away, but only because she loves them so much, and I think her relationship with a certain someone is really lovely and beautiful, but I just think Izzy can really kick butt in a way that I admire, and I think she's tough as nails, and I just love a girl who's as tough as nails. On this list, my favourite villain of all time is Queen Lavana, again from the Lunar Chronicles. Queen Lavana is one of the few villains in books that I've come across who actually petrifies me and actually scares me. She is so strong, she is so powerful, and she is a manipulation queen. I don't think there's anything more scarier than the power of gaslighting and manipulation and psychology mind games, and she embodies that to the T. Queen Lavana is the only queen in my life. She is the one that I would just like, I would do anything she wanted me to do, I would do anything at any point, but also I would love to stand next to her and rule the world with her and watch it all burn. Like, for her, I would watch the world burn. I had to choose a favourite character from Artemis Fowl series, and so I went with Butler. I have a thing for loyalty. Loyalty is the trait in a person that I think is most important and the thing that I value the most. So loyalty is something I really like in characters, and that's why a lot of my favourite characters are not the main character, but they are the like main secondary character, or one of the main secondary characters who is always loyal to their friends and their family and their groups of people. And that's why I think I love the found family trope so much, and Butler embodies that because he is the butler to Artemis Fowl. He is so loyal to him, he's kind of strong and bold and very, very protective, and I just love that. I just love how much he just does anything, not only for Artemis but also for his sibling who's kind of involved in this book. And yeah, Butler deserves happiness and he deserves it all, and his unwavering trust in Artemis is absolutely fantastic. On this list, a very new entry to my favourite characters is Embry from the American Queen series, the new Camelot series by Sarah Simone. Another thing that I really love in my books is angst. All of the angst bring me angsty characters and I adore them. Adam Parrish is definitely one of those angsty boys, and so is Embry. So is Embry. He is the Vice President of the US. He would do anything for his president. There are lots of sacrifices he has to make for his president, and there are a lot of sacrifices he has to make for the people that he loves, and he totally gets the short end of the stick in a lot of the situations that they end up in the book, but he is still there, and he is pushed and he is tested and he is always trying to do the right thing, and I love him for that. And sometimes you can see that what he wants to do is a little bit misguided, but you know what, he has feelings, he's okay. Like, I love sad boys or like angsty boys being angsty, and Embry gives me that and supplies it. Also, he's super hot, and also like his TV scenes are super hot. On this list, I had to put my very first book boyfriend ever. He will still always be like a treasured part of my heart. He's no longer a book boyfriend for reasons I cannot explain, but the first time that you read a book and you see a character and you're like, oh my gosh, I love this character, I would do anything for them, that's such a special feeling. And that's how I felt the moment that I met Adilio from the Gone series by Michael Grant. Now, I don't know about if this series has reread factability, because I know a lot of people who I've recommended it to and they're like, this is actually rubbish, the representation of this is so bad. But then there's some people who, if they like ignore the representation, really like the story. And I do think in terms of plot, the whole series is genius. And Adilio, he's again the second in command to Sam in a lot of ways, who is the main character in a lot of ways, and he just is so supportive and so loyal, but he's also so logical and like precise. He's got a good head on his shoulders and he's calculating and he's cool, but he also makes choices for the greater good of the large group of people, and it's really hard to do that in the world that they're in, especially as a teenager, and he manages to pull that off, which is why I adore Adilio. My prince. I don't usually fall for the royal characters in books, but Prince Ali in the Daevabad trilogy by S.A. Chakraborty really did that. I fell for him, and this was one of the things where it was a really interesting book boyfriend development, because in the first book I hated him, I could not stand him, I thought he was so naive and childish and making silly decisions, but again, S.A. Chakraborty blew that character development out of the water, and by the last book I was head over heels in love with him. I wanted him to be the one, and I was fully supportive of all of his actions, the choices that he makes, and the things that he does to try his best to protect those that he can. He's also in the midst of a lot of political intrigue and has to make a lot of choices or sacrifices based on that, and I am someone who loves political intrigue, especially in my fantasy and sci-fi books. So I think his stance in the royal family and the choices that he makes and how he grows really made him grow on me. This one might seem as a bit of a surprise choice, but one of my favourite characters of all time is Poirot from the Agatha Christie books. I have not read all of them, but I really love Poirot as a detective. He is my favourite mystery man, my favourite detective that solves crimes of all time. I think my problem with a lot of mystery books and why I don't read as many of them as I do in the adult fiction category anymore is because none of them compare to Poirot. Every time that this man with his little moustache does a dramatic reveal at the end of a book and he pieces together everything and all of the clues that he's discovered, I am in awe of his brain and how it works and how he manages to make it a whole dramatic scene. He loves to set the stage. He loves to be a little bit of a drama king, and I find that entertaining as well as seriously intelligent and smart, and no other detective since I've read a Poirot novel does it like he does. He is the best. He is the best. One of my favourite little teenage boys is Todd from the Knife of Never Letting Go series by Patrick Ness. Todd for me is a really nice character because he is so flawed and imperfect, and he symbolises a lot of things that I find really important and true things to, like, true values to have. So Todd in The Knife of Never Letting Go, which is a dystopian sci-fi book that challenges toxic masculinity and also just unlearning, is someone who has been taught a lot of things about the way the world works, and in the process of the story learns that nothing quite works the way that he's been taught. Now, a lot of characters, I think in a lot of dystopian books, go through that, but Todd's process of that was the one that felt the most realistic to me ever, and the one that hit home the most, because his unlearning is so gradual and so intentional and so difficult for him to do, especially as a 12 to 13-year-old boy, and that process of unlearning is so challenging, but he really did that. He really put himself through it over the course of that trilogy, and I admire him for that, and you can see how he grows and how he struggles and how he fights and suffers because he's doing that, and yet he never gives up. He's relentless with it. Todd is someone who everyone should be a bit more like. If we all had a bit more Todd in our lives, the world would be a better place. We have a guard on this list as well, Grey. So Grey is from Curse So Dark and Lonely by Bridget Kemmerer. I have not finished this series, I've only read the first two, so Grey is like my favourite character, but I've only read the first two, okay? And I love Grey. I think he is amazing because he is, again, he's a bodyguard. I think I haven't mentioned the fact that I love a good bodyguard as well. The reason why I love bodyguards is because they are so loyal to the person that they're protecting, and they would do anything for them, even sacrifice themselves. And again, it's that sense of unswerving loyalty. So you've seen that in Butler for Artemis Fowl, and then you've got Grey here, who's just incredibly loyal to the person he's protecting, and I just loved seeing that loyalty, but also sometimes that loyalty takes a certain sacrifice, which you see in this series, and I appreciated that, and that's why I think the second book in this series hit so hard for me, and that's because Grey deserved happiness, and I was kind of glad to see, okay, maybe not everything's happy in that book, but at some point he does seem to touch a kind of happiness that he fully deserves, and also he's one of the book boyfriends who I think would actually fall for me. My favourite Shakespeare character had to be on this list. Horatio from Hamlet by Shakespeare. Hamlet is one of my favourite Shakespeare plays, but I do have multiple favourite Shakespeare plays, so I don't know if that's saying much. Again, I hate to repeat myself, but Horatio is just so loyal to Hamlet. Like, Hamlet is arguably, depending on how you choose to read the play, losing his mind, and yet Horatio is there. He is calm, he is steady, he is consistent and persistent, and he is there for Hamlet. But he's also there to kind of maintain the peace with everyone, and again, he's just one of those secondary characters that has such a clear sense of calm within his body, and I gravitate towards people who make me feel calm and at peace, and I think Horatio definitely does. And and therefore we would be best friends in a heartbeat, and we would just like sit in the grass and like cloud watch and read books. Another favourite character of mine is Jesper from Six of Crows by Leigh Bardugo. So I have not finished reading Crooked Kingdom. That's entirely Jesper's fault because I didn't care about any of the other characters, just Jesper, and it's really rare for me to have that when the fact that I love a character so much is ruining the experience of reading the book, because anytime you got anybody else's point of view, I zoned out. I was like, give me back Jesper. And so I have still not read Crooked Kingdom, but I think that explains how much I love Jesper. He's a sharpshooter and he's a bit silly, he's a bit reckless, he doesn't always make the best choices, but again, he is loyal to a fault, and I admire that about him. And even when he doesn't have all of the chips in his corner, ironic that I'm saying that, he will still do what needs to be done for the people that he really cares about. This is where I'm really cheating, because there's 3 characters in one here, but I see Margaret Rogerson's books as one big canon and I can't choose. Like, her fantasy books are some of my all-time favourites, and it was really hard to choose one favourite character. So I just took one from each book. We've got Rook from An Enchantment of Ravens, who is Fae. I can't believe a Fae made it onto this list. I do not like books with Fae. I've said this many times before, and yet An Enchantment of Ravens overcame that. Rook overcame that. I loved him. He was silly and funny and entertained me. I literally laughed out loud while reading this book, but he also was super powerful and yet just gave all of that power to the girl in his life. And I loved that. Just give me a little face sub and I'll be happy. Secondly, I put the demon from Vespertine on this list. So not the main character, but the demon who's kind of possessing the main character. Again, her sense of humour with this demon is fantastic. I loved how this demon begrudgingly had to care about the body that he was possessing, and I really liked their camaraderie, and so that was the demon that got onto this list. Like, who would have thought? And then last but not least, I've literally forgotten her name, which is super bad of me if she's on my favourite characters list, but the girl from Sorcery of Thorns, love her. I love how in some ways her relationship with her partner in this one, or her love interest I should say, is a royal reversal of some of the stereotypes that we do see. She's taller than her man, she eats more than her man, she's the one who carries the sword, and she also loves books. So what more could you want? She's like a scary girl who loves to read. And then last but not least, the person who has snuck onto this list literally in the past week is Gordo Livingstone from the Wolfsong series by TJ Klune. I love Gordo Livingstone. He is a mechanic. He's also super loyal in a way that you wouldn't expect. He's super loyal to a certain someone in the series. I love that he's so loyal. I love that he's got his own garage and he's a mechanic, and he is maybe not a bodyguard, but because of what he is almost the bodyguard and the glue holding together a certain fan family. So basically, he's ticking all of my boxes. He is just tough as nails, and underneath it all, he is a soft one at heart. And I just, again, I love that I'm super tough, I'm super hard, I speak in like colourful language and swear at everybody, but deep down he cares about them, he's loyal, and there's nothing he would do for any of them. I love Gordo Livingstone with my whole heart, and he's also super angsty. Like, he's a man, he's older than me, and he's super angsty, and he's book boyfriend material, except like I don't think he wants me. There you have it. Those are all of my favourite characters that I've come across. This is by no means a list of my favourite books. I think favourite characters and favourite books can be very different things. Thank you for joining me and for watching this video with me to celebrate my birthday. Here's to another year of fangirling over books, reading too late into the night, reading too many books at once, and just loving the imagination worlds that authors create for us. Please let me know in the comment section down below who is one of your or some of your favourite characters of all time. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, hit that subscribe button if you want to see more, and don't forget to hit that notification bell to be updated every time I have a new video. And you know what they say, onwards and upwards. Excelsior!